All right, so the other live is now going. I start TikTok first so I can do all of the sharing before I start the YouTube live. So that way they're not watching the first part of the video, is just me doing this. So it works out that way. We're live on both now, and lately I've been talking about a couple of topics, and I'm going to continue talking about those topics because these are things that I am preparing to teach. And how do you know if you want to learn what I'm teaching if you don't even know what that is? So anyway, so I've decided to just start teaching it. Plus, I think it's really a big part of what I do is educate, is share knowledge or share information anyway. Hello, everybody. Hello, Roxanne. Hi, Astrid. How are you, love? And hi, Stephanie. Please stick around. We're going to learn about some true sidereal. And if you're not even certain what that term means, then stick around, because every day I do speak about like the general terminology again. So if you're here every day, you might hear it frequently, but that's okay. A lot of people don't know what it means or what it is. So the current astrology system that we use is tropical or seasonal, and they froze that astrology years ago, or they froze the constellations years ago. And so every March 20th begins Aries season, and it ends in Pisces season in February. And that's just what we have become familiar with. And so, well, Pisces season that ends in March as well. But anyway, what true sidereal does is it looks at the actual placement of the planets in the night sky as they actually are. So if we're doing something like celebrating a new moon, what I'm doing is looking at the sky as it is and seeing where the moon is, what sign it's in. And then that's the information that I'm going to go with. But currently, that's not how it works. And for instance, the last new moon that we had was a new moon in Scorpio, according to traditional astrology or tropical, seasonal, however you want to classify it. It was a new moon in Scorpio, but the sun and the moon were both in the constellation of Libra. So I don't know where the new moon in Scorpio was coming from. But if it gets us all doing things that is not in our alignment, then, that's how they win, right? They get us to be out of alignment. Hello, Liz. How are you, love? So I like to teach true sidereal because to me, it's the truth, right? If I was born on December 6th and the moon was the sun was actually in the sign of Ophiuchus, then why do I have this thing about being a Sagittarius? And why would we take a sign out? Why would we just delete it, right? Why would we not go with the truth of what's there? My dog's sleeping down here. Super cute. Birds are landing at the feeder out there. So both of these things can be distractions. So if you see me looking over there, it's one of two things. It's because I'm admiring my dog or I'm seeing the birds outside at the feeder and they just caught my attention. So I like to speak about true sidereal because I like to look at how things actually were. Where was the sun? Where was the moon? Where was everything as it actually was? And I also like to look at Krystic astrology is what I call it, but it's where we take away the lies about each of the signs. Because there's a lot of distortion that's built into everything, because that keeps us disconnected from our truth, how we're meant to live. And that keeps this information locked away from us. So we're not utilizing astrology as we should, which can be a very powerful thing, right? It can be very powerful when you know the truth about it. And when you start to read the actual sky, that's an important thing, is not going on what someone else is saying, but just, go look at the sky app and what constellation is the moon currently in, and then, go from there. So true sidereal, plus the truth about the signs and the planets and how we're meant to use astrology, is what I call Krystic astrology. And that's what I'm going to be teaching in March. So I'm talking about it today and every day, pretty much, to give you some information on it, and so that you can learn how to look at the signs with a little more accuracy. Virgo has been long known as like the very perfectionist, highly critical sign, whereas Gemini is wishy-washy, and all of these things that are put within each of the signs. And you may think that you are Sagittarius and then find out you're actually Ophiuchus, or you might think that you're Leo and find out that you're Cancer. That is always a moment where it's like, no, no, I'm a Leo, right? Is what ends up happening. No, I'm a Leo, because that's what the traditional or tropical astrology has told them. And I have to take a sip because my tea is not hot enough yet, so it's on the thing to warm up. But I did need a sip. So we're going to look at where the planets are in the sky, and we're going to look at what that means. And today is very similar to yesterday, because many of the larger planets that take longer, or the further out planets, the more distant planets that take longer to traverse through signs, they those particular planets that travel through the signs and take longer to go through them, they haven't moved through any of the signs, and many of them won't for a while. I did look it up to see that Mercury does transit into Scorpio from Libra on December 13th at 1957, where I am. And Venus moves into Scorpio on December 2nd at 2200 hours. So that's the next changes of those other planets, although there may be others. I haven't went through the other signs to see when they transit into other signs, except to know that Pluto isn't going into Aquarius until somewhere around 2040. So still a ways out there. So anyway, let's talk about what is going on with the sky today and how you can utilize that energy, how you can apply it to your life. So the sun is in Scorpio and the moon is in Capricorn, and this is according to the true sky. This is what's showing in the app, or in the sky as we see it. Okay, so they continue to deepen their work because the sun has been in Scorpio for a little bit, and the moon has been in Capricorn for a couple of days now. It'll transit into the next sign. Tomorrow it won't be in Capricorn. So this allows us to continue to deepen that inner work, but today carries more refinement of that energy. So as we advance further into the energy deepens. Like, that makes sense, right? So you are no longer just burning what is false, which is what the energy we started with. You are now strategizing how to build with what remains. Okay, so because that's the builder of the Capricorn energy that's kicking in now. And so truth is the blueprint. You want to drill down, and that's what we want to do when we're peeling back what's false, right? We're drilling down into the truth, and so we can build from that space. When we get triggered, it's an opportunity for us to look and say, why does this make me feel this way? Because if it makes me feel this way, then, if I can understand the mechanisms behind it, then it won't affect me in the same way. I can transmute that energy. I can move beyond it. So power is your foundation with these two energies of Scorpio and Capricorn together. And your soul is now ready to construct new form from purified essence, right? You're drilling down, removing those layers, getting to the truth of it, and then moving forward from that moment and building what you're constructing going forward. Okay, I don't know. I don't think so. That would be interesting. So we have our sun in Scorpio. What does that mean? Well, the sun in Scorpio is the Phoenix gate. It's the karmic review and soul fire. The sun remains in the underworld throne, revealing, incinerating, and recoding you from shadow to essence. So your Krystic focus, and this is just the true focus, not religious in any way, let your motives be purified by the fire of truth. No half light remains, right? We want to get to the truth. The truth literally sets you free. The more that you peel back the layers of yourself and get to the truth of who and what you are, the freer that you become. And the more that you're going to be through that discovery in alignment with your oversoul. It's what we are meant to be doing, is bringing our oversoul into form. So we bring heaven to earth through that. So the moon in Capricorn, brings sacred structure, and it's also rooting the soul into reality. So emotions can be very reserved or stoic when we have Capricorn in there, because Capricorn is very much like the business energy, the working energy. They are very logical. It's very masculine energy that Capricorn that brings. Like, I typically call it dad energy, because it's about accomplishing, and it's, about providing, and, like responsibility. It's governed by Saturn, which is about responsibilities. So that stoic energy, but underneath all of that stoic energy that's there, you're building this deep resolve. And that's, and Capricorn works through things in a very deep way. And it's, there's a lot, I'm not going to get into that. Aww. Yeah. That's very interesting, hey, to have that placement. I do a Krystic soul stream reading, and it's really, really cool to see how it all comes together, like what it talks about your essence, and how your soul is meant to move through this lifetime, what you're, how you're meant to express in that way. It's a beautiful reading. But yeah, that Capricorn moon, hey. So today is about responsible embodiment, right? That's Capricorn, is responsible embodied energy, right? So the Krystic prompt, and this is your reflection: where do I need to create container, not control? And that's where that line is, right? We can create structure, right? When you look at discipline as devotion, we talked about this earlier this week, but if you look at as discipline as devotion to your highest frequency, then it's not the same as looking at discipline as punitive or, straight up punishment, or equating discipline with I've done something wrong, which is what many of us do. We have these we have these subconscious beliefs around things. I know that I personally, because of the way that my mom did, and she didn't do anything wrong, like it wasn't her intent to do anything wrong, but my mom very much would be like, get outside and find something to do, or else I'll find something for you to do. And she always meant cleaning. So to me, cleaning became equivalent with punishment. So when I would clean, when I was younger, I would feel like I was in trouble, or I was doing something wrong, or this was the result of having done something wrong. So I had to work through that to understand, like, that's where it was coming from. So this Krystic prompt, that where do I need to create container, not control, is a good question. And what structure would support my true self? This is about embodiment. So I've talked to my friend about this, and I keep talking about this because I am in my embodiment stage. And what that means is, if I believe, I love using this one as an example. If I want to run a marathon, I have to start running. correct? Right? I was thinking, I'm like, it's the simplest thing ever. If I'm going to run a marathon, I have to start running. There's no way you can go do a marathon having never run a day in your life unless you plan on walking it. And even then, you are going to be in for a world of pain, if not unable to complete it anyway. Because you don't realize how much, if you're somebody that's very sedentary, to get up and go and, do 26 kilometers, 26 kilometers. Right? I had that notion once. I paid for it dearly. I was like, I'm a nurse. I walk around all day. I can go on this mega walk, like massive, massive walk. I'm like, yeah, sure, I got this. Halfway through, I did not have this, and I was stuck. I was like, I got halfway either way. There's no one that can come and rescue me. I have to power through this. I have to do the whole. If I go back, I still have to go as far as I do if I have to go forward. So I might as well keep going forward. And I did. For the next couple of days, I was like, oh, you've been there. You've overworked your muscles, right? Put yourself in that position. So anyway, we have the moon in Capricorn. So your emotions may feel reserved or stoic. But beneath that, there's this deep resolve that's building. Today is about that responsible embodiment. So it's really important for us now to be embodying it. So if you want to run a marathon, you have to run. You have to start running. You can't just go and do it. And that's the same thing. So whatever it is that you want to achieve in life, what does the person who has that, what are they doing? Right? What are they doing to achieve that? If you want to be someone who is fit, then you probably have to do exercise of some sort. Right? There's an action that has to be taken. So that's the embodied part. We have to embody who we want to be at the level that we want to be at in order to become it. Right? Okay. So Mercury is in Libra still. Mercury is in Libra still. And that is harmonizing the mental field. This is all about fairness. This is about justice and resolution. So this is a great time to be having conversations where you're wanting to resolve things, right? Because both people that are coming to the table are going to be influenced by this energy. No matter where your placements are, you're going to receive influence from this. So this is going to help you because you're also going to be like more with that authentic voice. So your Krystic question for Mercury being in Libra, so you get these questions or you'll get information about this for a while because Mercury could be in Libra for up to 45 days, or 35 days, something like that. Venus or Libra, one of them is, Venus or Mercury, one of them's 35 and the other's 45 days in transit. But anyway, they also are 12 or 18 for the beginning part. So they're slightly different, but anyway, one is I think 12 to 30 to 35 or 12 to 45. And the other one it's interesting. Okay. So we have more days in which we will be impacted by the energy of this, which is great. This means that's why our communication patterns, or we have, longer moments in which our thought patterns or our communication seem to be the same. So the question that you want to ask yourself with Libra being in Mercury is my communication restoring balance or reinforcing distortion? So we do this all the time. We'll be posting stuff on social media. We see something come up and it is biased, right? Our bias, we're seeing it because it's in alignment with us in some way, right? The algorithm has seen something, so you've slowed down for a bit too long on one of the pages, and it sucks when you do that accidentally. Right? I've been there, and then next thing you know, you're getting like cat litter stuff, and you're like, but it was just a moment. But anyway, that's a silly one. I'm okay with cats. But you get other ones, and it's even worse. Let's say you stop on like a celebrity thing, and then all of a sudden now you're just getting spammed with celebrity things, and you're like, oh my God, I forgot. I left my phone open and it sat on that. Dang it. Right? And we don't want that. So, yep. Lost my train of thought. It's okay. It'll come back if it's meant to come back. All right. So we have Venus in Libra, which is the rose flame. And this is beauty in alignment. Venus refines our attraction field. And to have that Venus sitting in Libra, well, Libra is about beauty and justice and harmony. So that means in relationships, we're really going to be open to being harmonic in it because of that balance that's coming from Libra. So how you treat yourself, because remember, we talk about mirrors being everywhere. How you treat yourself determines what you attract. You're so true. So I have a good question for you today. If I am a temple of beauty, what do I now allow to enter? If I am a temple of beauty, what do I now allow to enter? Hi, Tanya. That's a good one. We get a good one every day. I try anyway. I try to give you at least one good line every day. So that's the good one for today. If I am a temple of beauty, what do I now allow to enter? I probably treated myself quite much like a garbage bag. Because, when it's, you get that certain family members that are like, here, eat the leftovers, right? Like they really try to just like give you everything. And so you're like the person that like, I grew up poor, so I would eat it. And so then it just becomes this, like, I don't want to eat it, but I don't want it to go to waste. And so then you're eating it anyway. And I'm like, what is wrong with it? Like, it's not your responsibility for it not to go to waste. It doesn't rest solely on my shoulders. I'm not the homeowner. I didn't make extra. That's on them. If they don't want leftovers, too bad. You should have planned less food or something, right? But I didn't want to waste food because I had been in a situation where I hadn't had enough food. And I also felt about people out there who didn't have enough food. So, I guilted myself and shamed myself into eating it. And I did, until I realized that I was treating myself like the garbage bag. Stuff's going to get thrown out. But instead of it going in the trash, here, no, I'll eat that. And I was like, when I had that reflection, it made it much more easy for me to say, no, thank you. I'm full. I don't need any more. Nope. And just be firm in it. Nope. Thank you. Right. And that's how you learn to honor yourself, right? Is when you pull those things to light. So I love that as a thing, as a question to probe into that space. All right. So we've got Mars in Ophiuchus, which is sacred fire, motion through transmutation. Mars continues the alchemical campaign, shedding false ambition and redirecting sacred will. So this is putting us on point. This is aligning us, right? Mars is our drive forward. That's that beautiful forward motion, very fire energy, passionate energy. It's your will. So to have that in that beautiful space of resurrection, which is what Ophiuchus energy is transmutation to resurrection, which is beautiful. So your power, or the Krystic power of today, is let action rise from your inner medicine, not from lack. Right. So when you're taking action, let it come from within you to take action on that. Don't do it because you're like, I have to do it because I have to make money. Right. Like that's not the way that you want to be operating in your alignment. That's doing it for the wrong reasons. Right. So make sure that you're in that alignment when you're doing things. And it's hard because in the beginning, you're still working under that, operating under that mentality of, I have to be seeing it come in right now. It has to come in right now. Where is it? Why isn't it here yet? I don't know why I'm not seeing, right? So when you have to step into that, I'm trusting it, right? I'm trusting that it is here. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to stress about it. It's here. I can breathe. I can slow down. Then you start to build from the place of alignment. The stuff that you put out there is going to align with people in a much better way. And therefore, it's going to have a better return on the energy because that energy is in alignment with you, right? So there's where the benefit is. Still too cold, but it's getting there. It's heating it up. But one thing I did note is I put my hand on the bottom, and I have to remember not to do that because when it's heated up, it is very hot to touch the bottom, like scald my hand hot. So we have to be smart there. All right, so we have Jupiter in Gemini, which is the double torch. This is expanding through complexity. So wisdom now comes through contrast, curiosity, and courageous thinking. That's what Gemini energy is, right? Gemini is very curious, right? And Gemini wants to share that energy. And they like contrasting things. And it's true. This and that can both be true. The Democrats and the Republicans, the conservatives and the liberals are both, whatever, right? Like this and that are true. And in a lot of ways, that's the case, right? There's a grain of truth in most things out there. And that's, you just have to figure out how much of that is the truth and how much of it's a lie. So when we're looking at Gemini being in Jupiter, that's the expansion, right? This is where we're growing and expanding. And it doesn't necessarily mean abundance. If you're in a state of chaos, that's expanding too, right? So you have to think about that. Whatever state you're in, that Jupiter's in that space, you're expanding that. So Gemini is wanting us to avoid simplifying what is meant to be understood, right? We're not meant to lower ourselves or censor ourselves. And I've been talking about this a lot. We, collectively, we as the public determine that we're going to be censored. If every single user on here said, no, you're not going to tell me I can't say this word or I can't talk about that, we're all going to continue talking about it. And we just make our voices loud. They don't exist without us, right? The system doesn't exist without us. TikTok doesn't exist without the content creators that are on it and the users that interact with it. So if we stop engaging with it, they no longer have it, right? What we put our energy in grows, and what we turn away from shrinks. So they don't want us to turn our attention away. They don't. They want to keep us here. They want to keep us engaged and interacting. I have to check my phone. Just wait one second. Oh, it was vibrating. I thought maybe I was getting a phone call, which I did, but that's okay. Okay. That's okay. It's a call that can be missed. Sorry about that. Sometimes there's an important call and you have to take that. Okay. So complexity is not chaos. Okay. It's not. Learn to read the pattern in the paradox. And that's a pretty big thing to put out there, right? Learning to read the pattern. And we need to be paying attention and seeing, and that's where being under the umbrella of like ADHD or autism and things like that, being under that umbrella benefits those individuals because they have heightened pattern recognition. So that's why they're more challenging to pull the wool over their eyes, right? It's a little more challenging to confuse them or to lie to them or deceive them. So it's really a gift. It truly is. So enjoy being where you are. If you identify as neurospicy or neurotypical, or having ADHD or being on the spectrum or any of those things, know that for the most part it more than likely means you're gifted, or you're less available to be tampered with, in the sense that you can see the patterns and the lies, or you can detect the energy and things like that. So Saturn in Aquarius, this is the timeline architect and the legacy builder. So Saturn's codes today support long-term plans. Your future is encoded in how you handle today's sacred responsibility. So which of my commitments are contracts with distortion? That's a powerful question, right? If you know that it's tell, lie, vision, if you know that it's TV programming, and you're still consuming lots of it, which of my commitments are contracts with distortion? Why are you consuming all that distortion? You have to cleanse that. You have to clear that. You have to get rid of that, right? So why put it on you to have to cleanse and clear? It's okay to do it once in a while, but we're not meant to be sitting in front of TV watching it every single night. We're just not. It's entertainment. We should be able to entertain ourselves with a multitude of other ways, right? So that would be something where you're committing, say, oh, this show's on every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. So I got to be there in front of the TV to watch this. And meanwhile, you're making a contract with distortion, because that's all you're doing is ingesting some distorted programming that's trying to alter the way that you perceive things. And you're watching that with a contract with distortion, Say it a little louder, with distortion. So which of my commitments are contracts with distortion? I love that question. All right, we've got Uranus and Taurus. And again, this is the earthen reboot, nervous system revolution. These are some of the planets that move very slowly through through the signs. They're transiting very slowly. So when we have Uranus and Taurus, it's your body, income, and nourishment cycles may be shifting. So you might be finding, like right now, you're just not really liking the same foods, or you're deciding that the way that you're spending money or what you're spending money on is going to start to shift. Things like that. You could start to take things more serious where your health and wellness is. Exactly. You shouldn't. You shouldn't. But many people do it. Many people ingest it. So the Krystic suggestion for this is, what do I need to release in my material reality to stabilize my ascension path? Someone's trying to invite me to go live with them. Because liberation lives in repatterning the familiar. Right? If we're staying in a really, really comfortable place, not that we're meant to be uncomfortable. That's not the way. That's not the way. Not the way. So what do you need to release in your material reality to stabilize your ascension path? We have Neptune in Pisces, which is the mystic ocean and soul stream dreaming. And this one is that there is a window that remains open for dream messages, subtle memories, and divine remembrance. Anchor before you swim. You want to make sure that your stream is clear, that you're not being tampered with. Right? That the voices that you're, hearing are the voices that you want to be hearing. It's the voice of your oversoul. It's not something pretending to be a guide that's not got your best interest in heart and is keeping you looping, and doing so in a manipulative way. So you have to be clean when you're interpreting things, or clean when you're channeling as well, and understand, what you're connecting to and where you're getting your information from. So the Krystic message with Neptune being in Pisces is that the soul speaks through symbols. You have to get used to what symbols your soul is speaking to you from. Yes, remembrance is absolutely knowledge. Absolutely. When you remember, your DNA opens up and those codes are accessible, and that remembrance builds that knowledge for sure. My brain went on this thing, and then I was going to. Oh yes, my soul speaks through signs from nature. I'm like, why did I look outside? Like, I know there's some chickadees at the feeder. Like I commune with Mother Gaia and the birds, and when the fox runs across the property, I listen to the messages. I decode like the tracks that run across the property. And things like that. So my messages can come in symbols from that. Your messages can come in number symbols, right? The number of times that I've seen 111 recently is unbelievable. And it is new beginnings. It is a time of new beginnings. I've just moved across the country back to an old province, but once again, another new province, and this time by myself without my family. And for a company, for Hugs for Homeless. And so that's a big new beginning. And there is a lot of new beginnings happening right now, which is really, really powerful. So those are the symbols and signs that are out there that I'm seeing. And you have to learn what are the signs that you're receiving. Your soul will speak in music a lot of times. So if you suddenly hear a song and you're not sure why or where or how, think about what the song means, or what does it feel to you, or what does it reference to you, right? Maybe it brings up a memory of a time, and there's some little nugget of information in there that you're meant to reclaim at this moment. And so that's how your soul is speaking to you. Okay, so listen like a mystic, not a mind, right? We're not listening through the logic center. You're listening through your body and your senses, right? That's how a mystic's listening. We've got Pluto in Capricorn, and that's the soul throne, reclamation of your inner authority. Remember, that's Big Daddy energy, right? That Capricorn energy. And the cool thing is that many people think that the reason why we're seeing all of this stuff going and happening right now within society is because we're in the season of Aquarius. But we're actually not. Pluto is still in Capricorn and will be until around 2040. But the energy of Capricorn is aligning very much right now. We're absolutely seeing Capricorn because power is shifting from outer institutions to sovereign souls. And how many of us, more of us, are starting to talk sovereign or talk, in the new earth, or creating things that are upholding those types of ideals, right? Like it's what we're doing. So what collapses was never your true crown. So whatever's falling away, just let it. No, it's not meant to go with you. It's not meant to, carry to the next level, so to speak. So the Krystic declaration, and this is for you to repeat out loud if you feel so inclined, and it is, I reclaim my architecture from every false ruler within. As within, so without. Right? So the celestial synthesis for today is that you have the Sun in Scorpio and the Mars in Ophiuchus, which is purpose-driven purification. You have the Moon and Pluto in Capricorn, which is emotional sovereignty and inner throne return. And you have Mercury and Venus in Libra, which is relational refinement and graceful voice. So the energy is amplified because of the multitude of planets within one sign. So because those are all the duplicates that are happening right now, even though the Sun being in Scorpio and Mars being in Ophiuchus are not the same sign, they're very, very close together. And when we look at traditional or tropical astrology, Ophiuchus doesn't even exist within it. Hello, love. How are you, TT? Love the 333s, by the way. See, numbers speak to us. So we have a couple practices of the day to harness the beautiful energy of where all of these celestial bodies are within the constellations. And the first one is an embodying structure, and absolutely as above, so below. So create a 3-part daily rhythm aligned to your soul's needs, mind, body, spirit. Okay. So one part is what can you do for your mind? One part is what are you doing for your body? And one part is what are you doing for your spirit? So you have that ritual set up. You could have each part at a different point in the day, or you could have all 3 parts at the same, like roll through each part. We've got the Scorpio fire breath, and the way that you do this breathing is you're going to inhale from your root to your heart, and then you're going to exhale as if you're clearing smoke, right? So how would an exhale of like you're clearing smoke, right? We're like, right? So that's the fire breath, 11 of them. Good afternoon. 11 of them. And then your moon reflection is the form I now build must serve the flame I carry. It's a very powerful reflection for you. All right. How's your day going, love? That was just part 1 of what I was going to teach today. The true sidereal, Krystic astrology is what I call it, but I do want to educate people a little bit because many don't know about it. They're running with tropical or seasonal astrology. So I also want to give you the truth about what the signs and symbols or the planets mean, right? And that's what I plan on teaching in March on the solstice. That was when it will begin. You did. Love to you. So we're going to talk about embodiment now, because that was what I was also talking about when we first started out this morning, was just to do a little bit more. So we're going to talk about embodiment. Oversoul embodiment. Yeah, I did that yesterday. I spent $60 at the grocery store, and I was like, I felt like I should have taken a picture of it, like what I got for the $60. But then I was like, there's really no point. I do have a local spot that I can go to get really great fresh vegetables and stuff. Amazing prices. It's a gem. I am so lucky that I've got this place. And the health food store that I like to go to, they do a really great sale the first Tuesday of the month, every month. So as long as I go there on the first Tuesday of the month, I get great savings from there as well. So I'm lucky I have those 2 things. They really do help a lot for sure. But yeah, it's expensive for a lot of people for grocery shopping. Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. Birds out there. Okay, so we're going to talk about oversoul embodiment, and today's sky totally supports it with all that Capricorn and other energy that's going on, Scorpio and Ophiuchus and stuff like that. It's a very strong energy. So oversoul embodiment is not spiritual theory, and it's not tied to religion in any way, shape, or form, nor does the term Krystic. It's not applying to Christianity or Catholicism or anything. It's not any of them. I'm very much, the way that I am is that I am anti-political in the sense that I believe that it's all the same. And do I think that there are opportunities that one side is slightly better than the other? Maybe. But I do believe that, like, I have some strong beliefs. And when it comes to religion, I believe that there's truth in all religions, but all religions are filled with lies, and they're filled with control mechanisms and distortions and stuff like that. So the parts that I like are the parts that aren't the parts that are true, right? The actual truth that's in there, but not religion in and of itself. So that's why I say I'm spiritual, is that, I try to find the truth of who and what we are and how we're meant to live, and then, express that through my teachings and through my life. in the way that I live. So the moment, the Oversoul embodiment is the moment that your life becomes directed by the highest version of yourself. And I don't mean this in a sense of layers, like, you know, they're better than you. Like, this isn't about, you know, like any superiority thing. So this is not, I need tea. I was like, I needed something. I looked over here and I went, what, was it the bird again? No, I need tea. I need tea. Well, yeah, we are. We chose to come down here, right? So let's, if you take it from the theory of we made the choice to incarnate at this time, and if that's your belief system, right, then under that notion, you incarnate, you've made a choice. Why wouldn't you live your life to your fullest, exactly as you're meant to live, right? Why would you not express it in your truest form? That's what you chose it, right? You're meant to live it out. We're not meant to escape the body. We're not meant to escape the reality. We're not meant to, right? We're meant to bring heaven to earth. So we're meant to reveal to ourselves what the truth is about who and what we are and how we're meant to live, and then embody that in form in this reality, which is a reality of matter. So, you know, we're meant to bring it in there. Every ending is a beginning. Absolutely. There's not, it's absolutely, all there is beginnings. Mm-hmm. So Oversoul embodiment means that you feel clarity in your body. You move from this inner knowing. You step out of old patterns. So when you see a pattern, you recognize it as a pattern and you're like, nope, we don't do that anymore. I've noticed it as a pattern. I cannot do that anymore. It's you know, I'm going to do what I'm meant to do and live the way that I'm meant to live. You speak from truth, not fear. You make decisions without collapsing into doubt. Right. So when I moved here, when I made the decision to move here, it was very quick. Like my partner opened up the company on the 4th of August, which actually ends up being my oldest son's birthday, which is kind of interesting, but it's just synchronicities, right? So he opened it on August 4th and I moved out here the beginning of November, so I moved very quickly across the country to start this venture of Hugs for Homeless, because that's how in alignment with me it is. And so there were all kinds of things coming at me. My mom wasn't happy that I was moving. I have, in the time of my healing and growth, my mom and I have had such healing in our relationship, and she's one of my favorite people. Like, I just love my mom so much. My youngest child lives there, my nieces, my granddaughter, my granddaughter. So there's lots of family there. There is, you know, my other son lives in Nova Scotia, which is obviously closer to Ontario than it is to Alberta. But I knew that this was what I was meant to be doing, and this is the direction that I had to go in. And even though I had my son asking me not to go, and that was tugging at my heart, and it hurt really, really bad to leave, like it hurt a lot to make this transition because of leaving my mom and my son. It was very challenging, especially to come out here and not have family, right? Like I didn't move out here to have, you know, to be near another child or something like that. So I was like exchanging one child for the other. Like, you know, I was moving out here to be with my friends who are like family, for sure, or soul family, I guess, is another way to look at it. So you make the decision, you don't collapse into doubt, and you know it's the right decision, and things align beautifully when it happens. So most people hear fear louder than they hear the truth. And fear is louder. It has to be louder because the truth doesn't need to scream or yell. It just is the truth. It's calm and it's steady. It's grounded. And Oversoul, when you are embodying your Oversoul, you no longer feel that way because you start to hear the truth very easily. The truth resonates louder than fear does. So so it's important to step into that into your oversoul embodiment so that you can make decisions and move in that particular way. So the oversoul signals, how do you know, right? How do you know? How does the oversoul speak, right? Well, there's 4 ways that you know it's your oversoul. There's the calm knowing. You just know what you know. You don't know why you know it. It's very calm, very grounded energy. You just know, right? It's peaceful. There's physical resonance, right? Where it aligns and you feel it in your body. You feel the resonance. That can be those goosebumps everywhere, that cold draft over you. And you're like, yes. Or you could feel like click, like literally like you're falling into place, right? There's lots of different ways that you're going to feel the physical resonance of it, but it's going to be grounded. It's not going to be nervous. It's not going to be scary. It's not, it's not going to come in a way that's going to terrify you. That's not alignment. The alignment's not meant to be terrifying. Directive thoughts that land fully formed. It's very much a quick, you could ask a question and your oversoul, when you're connected and you're hearing your oversoul, it's very direct. It's typically going to be, especially if you ask a yes no question, that is coming in very quick. Yes no, it's very quick. If there's a couple of words, like there's no confusion, you're not going, what did you mean by that? Like, I don't really understand, unless you don't understand how to read your signs yet. And by that, I mean the other signs, right? If you're getting signs from nature and you're not even paying attention to them, or if you are getting those signs in your body and you're not paying attention to it, you just get a chill and you're like, oh, chilled. I'll go put another sweater on. It's a little cold in here, and you're not paying attention to what maybe you were saying or anything like that. That's, you're not open to hearing it. So that makes it different. And there's emotional neutrality, right? That's a big one. Like I said, it's not going to upset you. It's not going to terrify you. So if your inner voice is frantic or urgent or pushy, that's not your oversoul. Your oversoul doesn't have to push, right? It's simple, it's direct, and it's clear. That's how your oversoul speaks to you. So we're going to do a micro practice. We're going to do a little micro practice, which is like saying the same thing. It's a bit redundant. Let's check and see the temperature. It's almost at the right temperature. I have to, so then I can turn it down. Right. So we're going to put our hand on our chest. You can put one or you can put both. That's up to you, but hands on your chest. Take a nice deep breath. Let it out nice and slow. If your head's being very busy or you're distracted, do it again. If you're still distracted, do one more. Do not think, just feel. Your first feeling is your oversoul. This is how Oversoul embodiment begins. It's that simple. That's the start of it, right? You can practice listening to it, all of that. So the sun in Scorpio shows you truth. The moon in Capricorn anchors it. Congratulations. Anchors it into action. Mercury in Libra helps you speak with clarity. Mars in Ophiuchus pushes you to break old cycles. Pluto demands transformation at the structural level. This means today is not just about insight, it's about embodiment. The sky is asking, will you live what you already know? Will you live what you already know? So reaction comes from the past, embodiment comes from the oversoul. Reaction says, I must fix this, I must win, I must be safe, I must please, I must not lose. Embodiment says, I know, I remember, I choose, I create, I am ready. This is the shift. So this is the core of Bridge to Light Phase 2. It's not just hearing your oversoul. It's not just feeling it in moments, but it's living from it every day in your breath, in your body, in your choices. And I'm putting everything together with Phase 2. It's pretty much all together, but it begins January 9th. And I just have to do some updating on my website. So all I've been telling anybody is if this feels like something you might be interested in doing, to set up a free clarity call with me to see if it's something that really is in alignment with you and that that's something that you're ready to take on, because this is taking action, right? This is actually the embodiment is all about living as. So the next few weeks, we'll be continuing to teach little bits of the information so that you're prepared for what's beginning January 9th. And I think it's a powerful way to begin 2026, which is, it's a good year. It's a new year. It's not the real new year, but it's a new year anyway. So you are not reaching for your oversoul. You are remembering how to let it lead. And that is the path of embodiment, right? It's very exciting. It's a 6-week course, just so you know. This one's a 6-week course. And if you know already right away, that's not something that you want to do, but oversoul embodiment or anchoring your oversoul is something that interests you. I do have a small mini class that has a booklet with questions, and it's a practical booklet that goes along with it, and a recording that you can take, and it's for oversoul anchoring and tree of light activation, and it's a mini class that's available on my website, and that one's $22 Canadian, so it's very inexpensive, but allows you to connect to your oversoul, which is really cool. So yeah, lots of things going on. Still working on getting 2 books published. Yesterday we had a wonderful $100 donation to Hugs for Homeless, which yay, celebrating. And we are getting the stuff together so that we can distribute 10 bags into the community, and we're setting up a bunch of stuff. So there's lots in the works with Hugs for Homeless, and lots upcoming for on Sha'Ryah as well. I will have 2 more books publishing next month on winter solstice. So that's cool. I have the course beginning on the 9th of January, and then the course beginning on the 20th of March. And there'll be more books on the 20th of March as well, because I publish on that date as well. But check out the mini courses, check out the membership groups. There's lots going on Sha'Ryah. If you have any questions, or if the website seems confusing or anything like that, there's always the opportunity to have a free clarity call. The free clarity call is a Zoom meeting. So do expect to log into Zoom with the link that's provided in the email that gets sent out. So you'll get an email that tells you about your appointment, and it'll have the Zoom link, and you can also set up reminders. At your choice when you're booking. So then you can have all your questions answered about anything that I'm doing or how to get somewhere on the website. I do try to put all of my books on there as ebooks, and when I put them on there as ebooks, they are at a real discount. So because you're bypassing any of the, printing fees and stuff like that. So it's beautiful. So yeah. So I love you guys. I'm going to check and see if there's anything else that I wanted to talk about today. There might be. Yeah, I like that. What's your question, love? I have a board, a wobble board. It's the best thing, the stand-up desk and a wobble board. Hi, Kat. I think when we remember our divinity and we remember that we are all one and we remember our truth, I think that the man inherently steps into that energy, but so does the woman. All of us have masculine and feminine energy, right? You chose to embody, say, a male in this lifetime because there's a reason why you chose that. Just like I would have chose to be a woman in this lifetime. My brain is, there's a bird flew by. I'm sorry. I saw it out of the corner of my eye and I was like, don't look, I might have to close the window, the curtain, so I don't do that. But it's the truth, right? It's embodying that truth and living from that space, right? There's so many of us that are aware of, more of the truth of who and what we are and how we're meant to live, right? We're meant to be doing meditation. We're meant to be doing breath work. We're meant to be communing with nature. We're meant to be eating natural and holistic. There's lots of things that we're meant to be doing as to live in a healthy way. And I know that we have a lot of challenges because of society, but we do know that we're meant to be living different, and it's us doing it. Like, we actually just have to do it, and many of us don't do that part. And I'm one that's been there, and I say now I am in my embodiment phase, because I am right now, but I wasn't always. I had the information too, right? It's like I said, it's like that person that wants to run a marathon but isn't running at all, right? If you want to run a marathon, you've got to be running. Like, you have to be running, you have to be practicing. You can't just get up and run a marathon and expect to accomplish that. There's no way, right? So if you want to live, or you want to create the new earth, let's say, if you want to create the new earth, then you have to embody what needs to be created. And people are all like, well, what does that even mean? Well, it means that, let's say we think that the education system's wrong. Well, then that means we have to create new education systems for the ones that are wrong, right? Or to replace it. We're going to replace it with these new education systems that are teaching truth. Or if you think that the financial systems are wrong and that we should be bartering, then you have to be someone that's willing to barter, right? Discipline is devotion to your highest timeline. It absolutely is. Right. And so many of us, we've been so cultured in, this is the programming, right? You came down here to have a human experience. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You came down here to bring your spirit into the temple of your body and express it in the material world, effectively bringing heaven to earth. Right? There shouldn't be. There shouldn't be. The problem is that there's systemic reasons for it. It's multifactorial, unfortunately, right? For now it is, right? When we look at structurally, there's enough homes that nobody should be without a home. We have enough homes around the world. There's so many that are empty. There's towns. There's a whole town in China that could house like 10 million people that's vacant right now, right? Like there's like all kinds of stuff like that around the world where there's whole communities where they're empty homes, right? Like just empty towns. So there's enough houses for everyone to have a house, but the problem is it's profits over people. So until we fix the problem with there being profits over people, what do? Right? The person that say owns multiple homes, instead of renting it at rental rate, they could offer it to somebody, and this is a whole, there's a whole systemic problem with it too, right? Like the trauma that leads to a lot of this, children who age out of foster care, who then don't have family to fall back on when times get tough, they get captured into that. Trauma leads to it quite a bit. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that leads to it. So there's a multitude of things that need to be fixed to address it. But we shouldn't have any homeless. We shouldn't. I think that it's ridiculous to live in a world where someone has so much wealth that they won't be able to spend it in not just their lifetime, but their children and their children and their children and their children and their children. And like there's just no way they would ever be without money while people die of starvation. Like I don't know. I don't think that those things should coexist in the same world. Like I think that that's the tragedy of life that we're living right now. Right? We've made it profits over people for so long, and that's evident. It's evident everywhere. The EPA just said that they were going to increase pesticides that were being sprayed. Why? Because we're not unhealthy enough? Because we don't have enough toxins on our food? Right? Like Campbell's came out, and this is public, this is all over. I'm just speaking the news that's out there now, but but Campbell's came out saying that it's not real food. It's not real meat. Only the poor eat it. He would never feed it to his family. So then you have to look at what else does Campbell's own? Because if it's in the soup, it's in everything. Right. That's where we need to make those choices. If you even think for one moment that that's true, that say that it's not real meat, then if you think that's true, what he said, then you should never eat Campbell's ever again. Right? Because why do you want to eat something you don't even know what it is? Like, why would you want to put that in your body? Your body needs to be treated as a temple. Mm-hmm. Control. It's a big control element. It helps build a big illusion, big illusion, right? When the people at the top make money the focus and everything outside of you the focus, right? You have to, so then everyone's seeking money. So our drive gets to be money and to be famous and to look like the stars and to wear what they're wearing and walk like they walk and drive what they're driving and drink what they're drinking. And it's just everywhere. It's put out there for us that we want to have what the rich and what the wealthy have. And what that does is it leads us down the road of really anti-Krystic way, right? Because it puts us into that space of we'll do anything to be famous or we'll do anything to be rich. And we do things like, that's why we have an OnlyFans culture, right? Like, did you know that there's a teen OnlyFans? There's literally a teen OnlyFans. I can't remember what it's called. I heard this and I was like, are you kidding me? Parents allow their children to sign up for OnlyFans when they are teenagers, as young as 13. And then when they're getting close to turning 18, like they have to put on bikini pictures, and they can put on bikini pictures and things like that. Like this is pedophilia. What are the parents doing? Like they care so much about being wealthy that they're selling their children, and their children are being cultured to think that that's what life is all about, is money, 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 and it doesn't matter what I do to get it. And so, and then the depravity on the other end is that there's people that are paying for these, and they're sitting there on their 18th birthday going, come on, turn 18, drop the other pictures, drop the nudes, right? It's disgusting. It's disgusting. So we have to change that. We have to be the wave that changes that. We have to be the ones that stand up and are like, nah, not in the world that we live in. That's not. Right. Yeah. We have to be the change, and you have to be the change by changing. Right. It's not a static thing. Like it's actually like an active. It's not passive. It's active. Right. We have to change for things to change. So how are we supposed to be living in our true nature? How are we supposed to treat each other? If you are a fractal of the divine expressing itself, how do you treat other people? How do you treat nature? How do you treat, yourself? I think my tea's hot now. It is. Now I'm going to turn it down to the next temperature. Yeah. You would treat yourself as sacred, right? You would treat everybody else as sacred. And if we started doing that, imagine how much we would heal the world, right? It's through those changes. If you become love and compassion and peace and understanding, and you become that, then that's what you resonate to everybody around you. That's what you share with the world. That's what you uplift the world to that standard. So when you walk as your embodied self and you treat yourself as sacred and everybody as sacred, you uplift the whole environment around you and everywhere you go to that level of sacredness. It's beautiful. And that's how we create the new earth, is through those embodied moments, or those embodied lives, those of us that embody that. Yeah. Hello. What time are we at? Oh, we're right at 3 o'clock. It's so nice. It's very, very cold. Or cold for me anyway. It's cold. Very, very cold. Maybe wrong, because it's going to get colder, but it's definitely cold. And I'm going to get my my goofy little boy around for his I don't want to say the word yet because I want to go into the bathroom and put another layer of clothes on so that I'm really nice and warm when I go out there. Layers. You just got to have layers. And we'll be at this again tomorrow. We'll come back. I'll be back around the same time. I like the 1 o'clock time. So we'll 1:30, like in and around that range. But anyway, I'll be on at that point, and that's Mountain Time. So 3 o'clock Eastern, or shortly after. It depends if I go to town, it'll be as soon as I can. When I come back from town, that's the way it'll work. So 1 o'clock Mountain Time is when that's the earliest that I'll go live, but I could go live at any point after that because of getting back from town or something like that. You never know, right? So yeah, anyway, I'll be back here tomorrow and we'll check in with the planets. The moon will be in a different sign tomorrow. So we'll see how that changes and affects everything. On December 2nd, like I said, that's the next day that the stuff that's in that daily triad changes, which is the Venus sign. If you're looking for a Krystic soul stream reading, you just need to give me you don't need the time of birth. The time of birth helps because I can't give you rising sign without it. With rising sign, the best I could do is give you an idea of what all the rising signs mean, and you could pick the one you think is you. It's like a lottery, because the rising sign's the one that's changing throughout the entire day. But you would know, it might help anyway. But I can give you everything else in your soul stream reading, and I verify it on the Sky Live to ensure that it's accurate. And if there were any transitions on that day, so let's say Mercury transited from Gemini into Leo, it would probably transfer from Gemini into Cancer, not Leo anyway, but just besides that point. If it transited, then I would give you, it could be either or, because you don't know your birth time, right? For someone that knows their birth time, they're getting exactly what their soul stream reading is. But if you want something like that, set up a free clarity call and just put in the comments that you want a soul stream reading. And that way I know that that's what we're connecting for. And I'll explain what that is. And we can discuss like any questions that you have about that. But yeah, so go out and embody your truth. Right? Go live as you're meant to. If you want to be a marathon runner, start running. If you want to be organized, start organizing. If you want to be embodied, start embodying. Right? You have to do the things that get you to the spot that you want to go. All right. I love you guys. Have a great afternoon, and we will see each other here tomorrow. Bye, guys. Bye, guys. Have a great night.